Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and in this video we're going to look at my Trestles facility guide. I will try my best to make this guide as future-proof as I can, so we're not going to focus too much on the setups that you can be running, but we're going to focus more on what is the decision making behind it to figure out which setup is best for your account, and also how to reroll nodes, because I saw a lot of people wasting a lot of crystals while rerolling for stats. So I figured I'd share with you how I reroll them. It might not be the most efficient way out there, but I think it's still quite decent, so I figured I'd share it with you. And yeah, that's going to be the main focus. And I think we can quickly open the guide here on my website. If there is going to be any change in the meta, let's say, that implies a change also in the Trestles facility, I will be updating this guide. For now, these are the setups that I think you could be running, but we're going to go through them in this video in a second. So the content of this guide is going to be what you see here in the table of contents. There's some different sections. The first one is just explaining what Trestles is. Let me also bring up Trestles here on my free-to-play account while we speak. So Trestles is split into three parts. We have an intelligence one, a dexterity one, and a strength one. Each of them will provide additional stats to specific role of units. Intelligence will give additional stats to support and mages, dexterity to assassin and ranged, and strength to warrior and tanks. Every facility has 3 pages, and every page is made up of 8 nodes. Every node has one main stat that is fixed and depends on the type of node you are working on. As you can see, we have flat HP, flat attack, flat defense, accuracy, evasion, HP percent, attack percent, defense percent. So those are the main stats. They are never gonna change. You can change the values of them, but you cannot change the actual stat. And every node is made up of a main stat, as we already discussed, an additional stat 1, and an additional stat 2. That's as simple as that. You cannot have the same stat twice, which means on an accuracy node, you cannot find accuracy in additional stat 1 and additional stat 2, only in the main stat. And for example, on an evasion node, you cannot find evasion in additional stat 1 and additional stat 2, only in the main stat. And there are some changes between additional stat 1 and additional stat 2. In additional stat 1, you can roll some specific stats, like they can both roll attack, HP, defense, accuracy, and evasion. You can find information here in the rates. And all of these I just mentioned, so HP, both flat and percent, attack, flat and percent, defense, flat and percent, all have a 9.5% chance of appearing. Same as accuracy and evasion, but the other ones that are specific to an additional stat have a 4% chance of appearing. So in this case, for additional stat 1 is crit rate, magic resistance, and lifesteal. For additional stat 2, we have crit damage increase, then we have swiftness, and then we have physical resistance. So those stats have a 4%, which means is going to be important later for the how to reroll a node, which means you have to focus first on the additional stat, the specific one that only appears on a specific additional stat, and then you focus on accuracy and evasion if you're also building those. That's going to be really, really important. And yeah, they've also different ranks. They have A, B, C, or D based on the value, and there is not much to it. They have different chances, fine, whatever. Obviously, you want the highest rank possible, but usually it's enough to be happy about it, mid to high B. So for example, accuracy, that would be 13 and above. For swiftness, that would be 2.5 and above, stuff like that. So that's more or less it for what is Trestles facility. For how to unlock the second and third page, this is important because once you start the Trestles facility on a new account, you will only have access to the first page on every single facility. You will have to buy with the crystals every single node, so that's the first step. Before you even start rerolling, you unlock all the nodes. Once you have all 8, and the cost increases every node, something like that. Once you have 8, you have to start re-rolling. You can start from whichever one you want. And every single A rank roll that you find, you lock. So your goal is to get to this point. So where you have, as you can see here in the image, 3 stats that are all at A rank. That's your goal for the first page. And to do that, what I would recommend that makes it a bit quicker, but it doesn't really matter at the end, is just you do the 100 cost rerolls on every single node until you get the A rank. So I reroll this one until I get A, I lock it, in this case, this accuracy. Then I move on to the next node, I reroll, then I find another accuracy roll, I lock it, and I move to the next one. You do that for every single node. Once they're all with one single A rank stat, then you repeat the upgrade, but you obviously keep it locked. You do the rerolls at 200 cost, and then you lock the second A. Then you move on to the next node, stuff like that. So everything has 2 A rank stats locked, and then you move on to the third one. It is going to take a while, but it's not even too bad. I mean, it was a lot worse in the past. And once you've done that, you will then have an awaken button here. You click on it, and you unlock the second page. Then you unlock every single node again. And once they are all unlocked, you will have the awaken button. You don't have to go for 3A rank stat anymore. That's gone. That's not a problem anymore. You just unlock all of them. You click awaken. You get to the third page. You unlock every single node again. And that's it. Then you can start re-rolling. So that's really important. That's really what you have to do first. Don't worry about any setup, any stat until you have all 3 pages for all facilities. So yeah, that's the first thing you have to do and the most important one. Then we have the part where I kind of explain how to roll more efficiently, but I think we can focus on that in a second, not immediately. Because first, I wanted to go over the different setups and how to decide which one to pick. This is very, very important from my point of view. So the setups I added to my guide at the moment are just a few. The first 3 are the same, and the second, like the last 2, are also kind of the same. So the first 3 really depends on how valuable is accuracy and evasion for your account. And I'm saying for your account because it will really depend account by account. Accuracy and evasion are obtained in massive amounts from archive. So if you're a whale, you will have high accuracy and evasion coming from that, and it gives you more versatility. If you're not a whale, then your evasion will mean shit most of the times, and we're going to see why on my free-to-play account here. And for the last 2, they're basically the same, but the last one just has more resistances compared to the second to last. But they're very niche and mostly used at lower deficits. So it kind of depends. We have the first 3 that you will have to adjust accuracy and evasion to decide which one fits better for you. And the last 2 is only if you are not planning to push hard, you just want to chill and you want to stay at lower deficits, then you can run resistances and you should be fine. So yeah, those are just in a few words the different options. The one I recommend is the accuracy plus swiftness, is the one I'm going for in the free-to-play account. You might be saying, okay, but you don't need as much accuracy anymore because with the May 21st update, the evasion of enemies in normal adventure has been nerfed to the ground. So they have no evasion whatsoever. You will hit them. So you could theoretically remove some accuracy, and that would be true. But let's have a quick look and note down some numbers. So we go in adventure and we click on an enemy. Which one doesn't matter because they have all the same accuracy and evasion. So we see here 925 accuracy, 631 evasion, super low. It used to be higher than accuracy, so you can imagine how hard it was nerfed, really insane. So you take down these numbers for your floor. It's better if you're at least at a semi-decent deficit. Mine is still a bit low, it's like 140-ish. So yeah, if you're around 200 is better, but now I know with the link level increases, not many people are at a deficit. And yeah, so definitely take down the number, take into account that you will be pushing, so maybe you can add like 100 or so to both values. something like that. But we don't need to be too precise. It's just to have a general idea on what works and what doesn't for our account. So again, no super pinpoint accurate precision. Then we go to hard mode and we do the same. We check what the enemies have. In this case, it's even worse for me because I'm higher links than the enemies. I have not pushed hard mode that much. I'm focusing more on normal adventure at the moment. But still, let's have a quick look at the values for them. Keep in mind they're very, very low, and still accuracy and evasion are crazy high. So enemies are easy in theory to deal with in terms of link levels, but their accuracy and evasion are crazy high because that's not been nerfed. Hard mode is a pain in the ass now. If you don't have accuracy, you're not hitting shit. As we can see, this one is like 200 links lower than the counterpart in normal adventure, but this is already insane evasion. Like this is 803, the other one was 631. This one is 170 higher, considering that these are like 200 links lower. It's insane, guys. So you need a shit ton of accuracy for hard mode. And their accuracy is lower, is 720, but again, that's pretty normal. So in like 20 floors, they should have more or less the same accuracy as the normal adventure counterpart that we saw before, but crazy high evasion. So keep that in mind, it's going to be super important. Now we can have a look at the different units that we have. We need to take one for each Dresden's facility. So we'll take, I don't know, in this case, a support. We can take Towa. She has 845 accuracy, which is higher than the evasion that these enemies have in hard mode, but not even by that much. And evasion is 614, which is nothing. Enemies will still hit me in both the hard mode floor and the normal adventure one, especially if I start pushing. So this means for me, likely evasion is not going to be the play. But to decide that, we will have to go to the Dresden's facility to make sure. In the meantime, just write down the numbers, 845, 614. I will also do the same, 845, 614. Okay. Then we take another unit that could be from the strength facility. So in this case, Reflejo. He has 728 accuracy and 659 evasion. Okay. So that's written down. I know some people might say, okay, but you might have differences if you pick a unit that has rapport 6, rapport 5, or that has like slot 1 and slot 3 leveled up. Yes, sure, but I mean, we are not being precise again, so it's just a general estimation to do some reasoning behind it. We don't need to be accurate. So, okay, we have also the strength facility numbers. We need the dexterity ones. So we have here my Eden. We have 801 accuracy and 822 evasion. So this evasion is pretty decent, but we're going to see in a second also why. And well, dexterity users have pretty high evasion to begin with because they get it from both slot 1 and slot 2. Slot 3. But okay. So that being said, we can go back to the Dresden's facility and we can look at the applied stats. So we can see my strength facility is giving me 175 evasion. On a mono evasion build, you can expect to have 380 plus evasion. Normally 400, 420 is pretty common because you're going to get some pretty decent high rolls and A rank evasion rolls. So you can expect, let's say, 420, which is what, 250 higher than what I have, right? Yes, 250 higher than what I have. So if I had 250 to my 659 Reflejo stats, that's going to be 900 evasion. That's going to be 200 higher than the accuracy, than the accuracy that the enemies have in hard mode, which could be decent for now, but as we saw, I have a lot to push in hard mode, so that's not going to be the case anymore, or very, very quickly. So we're going to compare it to what the enemies have in normal adventure that I'm currently at, and they're at 925, which is higher than what I would get at And that means they are still going to hit me because you need to have accuracy the same number or above the enemy evasion to guarantee 100% hits. So if your evasion is lower than the enemy accuracy, you're never gonna dodge, not a single time. Which is interesting because it means that basically all of these evasion that I have here is not being used. It's entirely worthless. Even if I go for a full evasion build, it will only last me so long. Because like maybe for one floor it could work, but it's a complete waste. Most free-to-play accounts will be the same because evasion, you need archive for that. There are some archives that can give you like 1200 evasion just for that. And then you can go and build some more evasion in the Trestle facility, and that would work for a very long time. But still, it will reach a point where it's not enough on most units, except for some family hats that have crazy numbers there. But okay, doesn't matter, I digress. So evasion is almost never a good choice, again, unless you are a mega whale. So ignore it, don't worry, and you'll be fine. And that's what I want to do. I will remove every single roll that I have of evasion in additional stat 1. Then for my accuracy, I have 279, which means, again, the numbers, if you're going for a pure accuracy build, should be around the same as I mentioned before, so 420-ish, maybe 400, whatever. And my Reflejo already had 728 accuracy. If I had 130 to it, it's going to be, let's say, 860. That's more than enough for my normal adventure, and that's enough for hard mode as well, but hard mode is going to outscale me quite hard, which means I definitely need accuracy because accuracy is one of the things you definitely want. You need your units to be hitting enemies. If you are not hitting them, then there is no way in hell you can win. So accuracy is extremely important. And I think that all things considered, even after the nerfs to adventure, accuracy is still a major point for free-to-play accounts. We're going to push a lot more now that our links are increasing, but our roster is not keeping up. Our sources of accuracy are not as good. And yeah, you definitely want accuracy in your true essence. So that was the point. And for strength, we understood I need accuracy. I don't give a shit about evasion. Now we look at dexterity. We see that my dexterity has 242. That's also why it's higher than the other ones. But yeah, if I add 160, let's say, to my add-on number, it goes to 980. Okay, 980 is enough for the accuracy that the enemies have in hard mode because I have like 260 more than them. But again, pretty low floors, so we're not going to consider hard mode. If we look at normal adventure, they have 925, which means I only have like 60 more than them, which means I'm still going to get hit most of the times. I will dodge every now and then, but not reliably. If you want to reliably dodge, you need like 200, 300, maybe even better, 400, higher than the enemy accuracy, which, as you can tell, is not happening on my free-to-play account. So evasion is, again, entirely worthless for me. So I can get rid of all of those in favor of some more accuracy. That is at 253 at the moment. So yeah, that's going to be the plan. I do not need evasion. So basically all of these just to disregard the first two setups entirely. Like these two, you can skip them, they're shit. This one is what I think is the best set for free-to-play accounts 95% of the times, maybe even more. And that's also my general recommendation. And these two are going to work mainly on low deficits where resistances still work. Okay, let's keep looking at my intelligence as well. So intelligence has the lowest evasion out of all because I already started migrating to a mono accuracy build, but I still have like 60, maybe 70, maybe even more evasion. You will still have some because it comes from the evasion main nodes, but that should be around maybe 60 to 90, let's say. So here I still have a lot of rolls I have to get rid of in favor of some more accuracy. So we can expect this number to go high by like 80 more or something. And then I have 69 swiftness. These I have swiftness in every single node. That's pretty dope. I also have quite a few A rank rules, so I'm quite happy about this tree. The other ones still have some resistances, but I don't need them at all, so I will definitely fix that. So yeah, that's the logic. Again, we saw evasion means nothing. Even if I were to increase it, they wouldn't really stand a chance to dodge enemies. So it's better to go again full accuracy. And yeah, guys, that's the logic behind it. We can all tell, I think, that this is the best option for most accounts. Magic resistance could work if you want. You still run some accuracy here and there. Same thing for this other one. But yeah, it kind of really depends on your deficit. If you're not planning on pushing too hard, maybe you can afford it. But it's more something of the past where we couldn't really get past like 350, maybe like 6-7 months back. Now with all the recent broken max HP units that we got and also some insane attack scaling DPS units, we can easily go past that. So it's not really recommended anymore. This is what I think is really the only option. Then you can tweak a little bit if you need, I don't know, maybe some units, a bit more of crit rate or something. But we're going to see that in a second here. I think we are going to skip the setup for accuracy evasion split and evasion split or mono evasion. We're just going to focus on this one. So the accuracy plus swiftness. And yeah, so before we start with this setup and we look at the different points that you will find in this guide, I wanted to cover this how to roll more efficiently. So let's take, for example, my strength resistance facility. Let's find some nodes that I need to work on. As we saw before from the percentages, you want to go for the like additional stat specific rolls first. So since I'm going for the accuracy swiftness build, I will look for swiftness first because that's only a 4% chance of appearing and accuracy is like a 9.5%. I will remove every single evasion roll because I don't need them. And also physical, like right now I'm a low deficit, so resistances are still working. That's why I have not removed all of them here yet. But if I find them low enough, I will get rid of them, like this 2.11. I'm just checking some nodes to see what can be improved. This one is super low, so I should be rerolling it, but I'm looking first if there is anything else that makes more sense first. I want to look for also this one crazy low. This is my worst probably tree that I have. Yeah, this is absolute dog shit. Let's see. 228, that's also dog shit. We have evasion that's useless. 215 physical resistance is also useless. 313 not bad. 315. 243, 206, 254, 28. Okay, this one is trash. Okay, we can reroll this one. I think it's the one I used in this screenshot. Yes, it is. So we can reroll this one. What I would do when I reroll a node is first go for B rank of, again, the, let's say, rarer one, so the 4% stat one, so in this case, swiftness. And I could, or maybe I could also skip it, select A rank for the other slots. In this case, accuracy. That's the only one I care about. I also leave the flag for ignore all stats other than those selected, so that if there is any random A rank of a shitty stat, it's not gonna stop. So that's the plan here. And we don't give a shit about the flat stats. Like flat HP, flat attack, flat defense do not scale with link levels. So if you see like a 100 attack, that's 100 attack. And when you have hundreds of thousands, you can guess 100 attack is not going to do anything. Attack percent is a bit better, but still not worth locking in general. Just ignore those altogether, you'll be fine. So yeah, we can go with this. We can also go for accuracy just to have a look, and then we'll see. So the most important thing you have to keep in mind, guys, is that you want to do as many 100 cost rerolls as you can. Every time you lock a stat, the cost is going to increase by 100. So first, go for the 4% stat, get it to a decent level. So that's going to be fairly cheap. You lock it once you are sure you want to go for the other stats, and that's it. Initially, when you're just starting out, my recommendation would be to get swiftness in every single node first, and then you go and look for the additional stats. You could like potentially reroll multiple times swiftness if you see like a 2.2, 2.3. You can bring them to like 2.5 and above. That would be good. If you find an A rank swiftness, then you can lock it and also go for the additional stat 1, just because you're basically never going to touch that node again. But we're going to see in a second if I can get to that point. So hopefully it's not going to take too long. There are some instances where you might need even like 200k crystals to get an A rank swiftness. Now we're not going for A rank, so I'm hoping it's not going to be that expensive because I don't have enough. But we'll see. We're not even getting a single swift. Okay, I just complained and we got it. So we have 279 and we're going to lock that. Now we also have an A rank attack. We don't give a shit, but normally, as I mentioned, we got our swiftness, we move on to the next node. We want to do 100 cost rerolls first. So we can move on to different ones. That's really kind of shit. I really, it's really hard for me to even think about removing some physical resistance, but I don't think I have any physical resistance build yet. Maybe if someone has it, could be Mama Nak, but I highly doubt that. Yeah, she doesn't. Yeah, okay, I will remove that. It literally has 0 weight. If they don't have 99% resistances, then they don't have resistances, guys. Maybe 98 could be possible at this kind of deficit amount, but no. So every single physical resistance node that you see has literally 0 weight. So this one, I will remove. We just do auto change. We go here, sorry, B rank, swiftness, and then we go A rank accuracy. That's the usual combination that I go for, an auto change, and we wait. So you repeat this process for every single node until you have a satisfying swiftness number. And then you start looking for accuracy. If you already have some nodes with, let's say, 2.5 swiftness and 14 accuracy, but that's like your worst node, then you can start working on those. But if you can build most of them like that, it's going to be perfectly fine. Also, if you see a crazy high accuracy node, like a 20 accuracy, so the max value, I know it hurts, but you can reroll it. Like you don't have to keep it 20 unless you desperately need it, but you shouldn't because I mean now the accuracy requirements are really a lot lower. So you can afford to lose a 20 and maybe settle later for a 15. Doesn't matter. As long as you can improve your swiftness, it will be worth it. Now, I cannot stand to see a 2 accuracy. I would normally move on to the next node, but I have decent stats on most of them. So I will just go ahead, lower it down to B, and say, okay, let's look for accuracy now. The cost is now 200, so that's crazy expensive, but accuracy is a lot more, like is a lot less rare. As you can see, I already got it. So it's fine. If it was the other way around, so I logged 19 accuracy, and then I went for swiftness, that could have cost me all of my crystals, and I might not even find a single swiftness roll. Or maybe I find a 2.01 and I'm like, okay, I'm fucked. So this node is now a perfectly fine node, and I spent nothing for it. So in this case, if I had this 19 before my swiftness, that would be tragic because I would be rolling at 200 cost to get my swiftness roll. That would have been like madness. Now we can do something like this. We don't need either of them, like either of the resistance rolls. We can just say, okay, again, accuracy, and here, swiftness. A and B again. We roll and we wait. Evasion A, we don't give a shit. All of that stuff is just irrelevant. We only care about those two stats. And yeah, now I don't want to guide you through all of my re-rolling of this facility. It was just to share with you kind of the logic behind all of it. I think we can quickly look at the accuracy plus swiftness setup just to see which kind of fields and questions you will see here in this section. So you will see the same things that are present in the table above. You will find them here again. Then you have more information on which kind of stat you should aim for in the additional stat 1 and 2. And we have here 21 rolls of accuracy and a note saying that in the accuracy main stat nodes, you run either crit hit rate or magic resistance. More information on that could also be found here in the should you run the same on all three facilities. And then here I say yes, but there are some differences for dex and strength. I would recommend crit hit rate in this scenario where you have the choice between the two. And for like for the intelligence one, I would recommend magic resistance. To be honest, I will probably change it soon and make it either attack percent or yeah, magic resistance is fine. I mean, magic resistance is fine, but it's not really going to be useful most of the times. Could still be somewhat useful in PvP, but not too much, guys. So probably attack percent, but we'll see. Or just leave it random, don't give a shit about it, and focus on getting a crazy high swiftness roll. That would also be preferable. And for dexterity strength, I also mentioned that you could actually replace 3 of the 21 accuracy rolls with crit hit rate, so that you have like 18 accuracy rolls and 6 critical hit rate. This will get you 15% crit hit rate on average and a bit less of the no, a bit nothing, like a bit less accuracy, but it doesn't really matter. It's like probably 350-ish, so it's still quite decent. And all of these numbers are all taken into account, let's say the middle of B rank. So for crit hit rate, that would be 2.5%. For swiftness, 2.5. For accuracy, I think I was calculating with 14, which is mid-high B rank. The exact mid would be 13, but I'm pretty sure I was doing the calculation with 14. So yeah, that's the other information that you see. So here are the minimal rolls that you can accept. I also say swiftness at least 2.4, 2.5, but in the early rerolling phase, you can log 2.2 and 2.3. We got a 2.5, so basically exactly half, and we're going to keep that. In the meantime, I'm going to lower to B and also reroll for accuracy. And we got it already. That's good. So let's move on also to the next node. We want to remove those physical resistance nodes that are entirely worthless. Also here, I'm going to roll away 15 accuracy because increasing the cost is again a stupid move to do. So definitely remove that. And then we go A rank accuracy. That's it. And we try again. So yeah, then there is a brief overview of the stats that you can expect to get from this facility if you build it like that. And then some final consideration, like information about the fact that normal adventure was nerfed a lot in terms of evasion. So in that content, you will have accuracy in excess. But don't worry because it will help in hard mode. This is the kind of information that I'm adding here. Also talking about the fact that you can afford to leave stat 1 a bit more random in this case and just focus on getting super high rolls of swiftness at the cost of 100 per reroll. So yeah, that's just a general recommendation you can do. Like in this case, I could just say, okay, I don't give a shit about additional stat 1. I will just focus on getting these swiftness to the highest possible roll. 268 is still quite decent. I would do that kind of logic maybe with 2.5 and below. 2.7 and above swiftness, you could keep it, is fairly good. So yeah, here we have a 268. I will also do this one. I'm only doing this kind of reroll now because I have quite a lot of crystals, so I'm confident I can get swiftness on most of my nodes. But otherwise, you should first prioritize getting swiftness, and then you go for the accuracy wherever you need it. And the additional note here is also that you will depend on team building and Barry to make your units survive. So you don't have any survivability whatsoever coming from True Essence, as you would maybe with an evasion setup or a resistance setup, but it doesn't matter. You can easily survive with the right team building, and Barry is also a really good help. So yeah, that's just the general review, guys. Let me know if you have any kind of question. I will be happy to reply. And I hope this video can like last for a very long time so that I don't have to make too many updates to it. This is again just a general overview. And when there are going to be any meta changes in the future, they're going to, I don't know, mess up adventure even further or something, I will make changes to the guide, and I might make a quick video saying, okay, guys, there is this new setup that I think is best, blah, 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 stuff like that, and we'll see. So, yeah, I think that's all, guys. I will just finish re-rolling off screen. I think you already got an idea on how to roll a bit more efficiently. Again, do as many 100 cost rerolls as you can. What I'm doing right now is not efficient, but I'm doing it only because in theory I should be getting accuracy fairly quickly. I did in the past too, but this one is a bit more annoying, so I might give up fairly soon if I don't get one. If I don't get one in like 136k, I'm gonna stop the rerolling. But okay. So yeah, that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.